Now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA. On the 2025, political allies from across Nigeria and the people of Delta State joined former Governor James Onanefe Ibori in celebrating his 67th birthday anniversary. Messages of goodwill and prayers for the political leader and resource control champion filled newspaper pages and social media, celebrating his remarkable life and his contributions to the development of Delta State, the Niger Delta, and indeed Nigeria as a whole. He lighted some of Chief Ibori's while serving as governor of Delta State between 1999 and 2007. Today on the program, we will bring you an abridged version of a 24-year-old documentary I produced back in the year 2001. This documentary outlines the achievements of his administration when it was just 2 years in office. We do, however, apologize for the picture quality, which may not be as sharp by today's standards.
It is now my pleasure and honor to commission the Arade electricity project for the service of Arade people in particular and to humanity in general.
All over Delta State and in all sectors, the story of change and improvement is one that has been told by everybody. The commissioning of projects have become a regular phenomenon. This situation came to prominence when Chief James Ibori assumed office as of Delta State.
That is to tell you that the military was the administrator or governor in the state. The same did not do this, but God would not. And that is why God said in the Messiah called Chief James Onanefe Ibori.
Located in the south-south axis of Nigeria, the oil-rich Delta's gloomy history seems to have finally found a panacea to his numerous problems in the democratically elected government of Chief James Ibori of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Recognizing the fact that no meaningful development can conflict, Chief Ibori, immediately after being sworn in as executive governor of Delta State, embarked upon a mission of state, a task which had before now proved impossible to past military regimes.
At the inception of this administration, we were almost jolted by the worst, what is generally regarded as the Warri crisis. 2 years after the crisis, I make bold to acknowledge the sacrifice by all parties to the crisis. Governments ensure that our people are not needlessly dragged into conflict.
After restoring peace and ensuring security in the state, Chief Ibori now turned his attention to infrastructural development. During the 2-year period under review, over 2 routes across the state either being rehabilitated or constructed. Also, the linking of riverine community in Delta State is also a priority for Ibori's administration.
This administration has also taken bold steps to link some of our riverine-based local government areas through the construction of bridges and roads hitherto regarded as impossible ventures for government. Hence, Bomadi headquarters of the Bomadi local government is being linked with a major bridge, a navigational bridge across the Focados River. This work is costing the state government about 4.6 billion naira. It has been awarded, the bridge is under construction as we speak. Also, a bridge is being constructed across the Ase Creek to link Abo for a contract sum of about 3.7 billion naira.
Apart from using big-time contractors for the construction of roads in the state,
Ibori administers direct labor agency for the maintenance and rehabilitation. The test for successful rehabilitation of existing roads, the Asaba houses, Right Reverend is full of praise.
This road, the action promised to pass road. The MPA promised to pass road. The UPA and MPP promised to pass road. The military administrator promised to pass road. They never did. But Governor James is doing it. God bless democracy.
The Delta Line Transport Company in the past 2 years has come alive from its near comatose state, courtesy of the tremendous support from the Ibori administration. Aware of the importance of shelter to people, the Ibori administration in the past 2 years have taken steps to provide affordable houses for Deltans across the state.
Delta State government established the Delta Development and Property Authority as a limited liability property development company to facilitate the process of providing shelter for the people. Some units of the Asaba housing estate are actually now ready for sale to members of the public.
The Ibori administration has also addressed the lack of accommodation for judges and the judiciary. Prior to Ibori's administration, almost all key officers of government lived in hired apartments. But this problem, to a great extent, is being addressed with the construction of new official quarters for senior public servants and political appointees. The provision of electricity also occupies a place of priority in the Ibori administration.
About 25% of the rural communities in the state now enjoy electricity supply. This is also being extended to Imoje, Orobe, and Okojawa, while distribution networks and 300 kV, 11 kV 415 volt substations have been established at Agbo and Obi and Yima. Work has also been completed on the installation of a 300 kV transformer substation at Ikuruku Egone Streets in Ugeli.
The establishment of a separate Ministry for Water Resources Development was informed by the desire of the Ibori administration to speedily execute and ensure the regular maintenance of water schemes in the state. The ministry will in this regard continue to monitor and closely supervise the operations of the Urban Water Board and the Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, RUWATSAN. In recognition of the crucial role which education plays in the development process, this subsector has continued to be accorded prime consideration in planning and funding since the Ibori administration came into office. 2 years ago, the education sector was at best comatose. Most of the primary and secondary schools were in a deplorable state, as few of the school structures had roof over them. The task, therefore, of rescuing the education subsector was as complex as it was intimidating.
The state of infrastructure today in our schools cannot be compared to anywhere in this country. Anywhere. I am not going to tell you, go to this local government or go to that local government. I cannot tell you, go to any local government you like. Go and assess the situation in our schools. It is only in the state in this country where primary schools are the first provided.
As improvement, we never thought that we would see this type of thing. So democracy has done us well.
Apart from the extensive renovation carried out in schools at the state, 3 new secondary schools were established at a cost of over 40 million naira. All these efforts at revamping the educational sector are aimed at restoring the glory of Delta State as an educationally conscious state. Furthermore, the Delta State government has worked out an educational program with high-packed university linkage foreign partners for the establishment of 3 new polytechnics, which are to be located at Ozoro, Ogwashuku, and Otefe Ogara. As earlier promised during its electioneering campaign, that the existing hospitals and healthcare centers in the state are to be rehabilitated and new ones established, adequately staffed and provided with enough drugs. Health institutions in the state are currently undergoing various stages of reconstruction, rehabilitation and renovation.
Renovation work, we're also building new hospitals because the truth is that it is on ground that every local government headquarters at least must have a hospital. We've just started those projects. There are some hospitals that were abandoned. They started building, they were abandoned or came in. We have completed and finally to replenish the stock. So with that, the drugs revolve and there's no out of stocks.
In the area of sport and youth development, great strides have been made in the past 2 years.
What we did in the first 1 year resulted in the National Sports Festival. Delta State not only got all the gold medals, but also even in the match past. Just to tell them that, you see, we can be organized. Even in the match pass, we came first. And also have some superior athletes, train with them and interact. So we are doing quite a lot in sports development, and I hope that it will continue to yield us some good dividends.
About 105 projects were executed in the information subsector, chief among which is the provision of facilities to the Asaba Wari radio television station of the Delta Broadcasting Service, as well as the state-owned newspaper. As part of efforts to develop agriculture and achieve self-sufficiency in food production in the state, more emphasis is being placed on agricultural matters.
In view of the potentials of the state in the area of oil palm production, 91.6 million naira has been released for oil palm development program. A total of 1,000 hectares and 5,000 farmers are expected to be engaged in this program.
Also, a program known as the Songhai Project that will focus on the training and development of agriculture and other skills in Delta youths has taken off in Amukbe near Sapele. The successes recorded by the Bori administration in 2 years, without exaggerating, can simply be described as monumental. This has, however, been made possible by the strong leadership traits of Chief James Ibori, whom political and government functionaries in Delta State described as a perfect team. The usual rift between governors and their deputies in some states is completely absent in Delta State.
If the law did not specify any definite rule, and it is at the discretion of the chief executive, you listen and take orders. There will be no problem if you do that. But when you are ambitious, you begin to feel that you might as well be the governor, then you're calling for a problem for yourself.
Also, Chief Ibori has had a smooth sail with the Delta State Legislature.
In Delta, for some time now, what we have discovered is a budget where we also have inputs. The legislation in Delta has inputs. And it is difficult to fault a procedure where you are involved. Because you already had the opportunity to make your contributions to the process. And of course, you already feel that you are part of the process.
From what I've discovered and the way he handles matters, does not want any problem within the state. That is why I think that's my own reasoning. That is why I feel he always want to see his chairman. Does not discriminate whether you are from this party or not this party. He wants to carry every person along.
Not yet satisfied with his very enviable achievements, Chief James Ibori in recent times has been championing the cause for resource control to enable him get even more funds to develop Delta State.
What we are trying to do in Delta is to ensure that development goes to these communities where this oil is being produced. But because they have been so devastated over a lot of time, you just need to visit the entire Niger Delta for you to know that this is a struggle that one man cannot really deviate from. We are all moving as one, and we believe that as a nation we need to discuss it. We believe that we need to do something about it. These people need to be treated as if they are Nigerians, because as it were today, if you visit some of these communities, they don't even live in Nigeria. You need to visit the community to know that they don't even live in Nigeria. And you see, you expect that you're paying 7.8% of a constitutional provision, and how much is it? 2 billion. This shout about Delta State taking so much money from different accounts. How much on a monthly basis? The cost of 1 kilometer of road in those areas, 1 kilometer of road in those areas is 50 times the cost of a kilometer of road anywhere else. So same for Delta, same for Bayelsa, same for part of Rivers, same for Akwa Ibom. So these issues must be understood. We must allow for this provision to hold. We must allow for this funding to be used, for the development of this area, so that the people can have a sense of belonging.
The impressive performance of Chief James Onanefe Ibori of Delta State in the past 2 years is one that is attested to by everybody.
Considering his age, the governor's age, I don't expect any less because he's part of the new generation of leaders that the Nigerians are blessed with, and I believe that he will do better as time goes on. But honestly, he has performed creditably very well.
And complete everything in 4 years, but so far so good. A lot has been done, and that's quite appreciable. It's one reason why you find people very gay, very joyous. They were happy with the government.
There are a lot of infrastructural developments that are taking place virtually in almost every village in Delta State. Unlike the military time where we don't see implementation of projects here and there. But in the course of Ibori, he has really tried as far as Delta State is concerned.
There's a parable in our place. In fact, I think it is universal to Delta. That when the Adama lizard falls from the palm tree, he looks around and nobody is praising him. He will have to praise himself. Come the title to praise
As the Ibori administration goes into the second half of its tenure, one thing is certain: Delta State will have been transformed into a model for other states in the country at the end of the Ibori administration.
Chief Ibori, loved and admired by his people, sought re-election in 2003, and the people once again returned him to serve another term, which lasted until 2007. Indeed, many say that even 18 years after leaving office, his legacies in Delta and across the Niger Delta region remain fresh in the minds of the people, with successes that to this day remain unmatched by any administration in the state. One of such landmark achievements of Chief Ibori is the initiation, construction, and completion of the Bomadi Bridge over Focados River to connect the previously isolated Ijaw communities in the area. The project, which cost about $50 million at the time, was commissioned by the then President Olusegun Obasanjo. As he turned 67 on the 4th of August 2025, Inside the Niger Delta spoke to some leaders of thought from the region who reflected on Chief Ibori's contributions, rating him high amongst his peers who took office at the return of civilian rule in 1999. Here is what the national chairman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEV, Ambassador Godknows Bolade Igali, and Rivers-born legal luminary OCJ Okocha said about the man popularly known as the Odidigbo of Africa.
If you go to Delta State, I don't think in his generation there's any of the governors that did the amount of work that Chief James Ibori did. In fact, James Ibori, of the governors of his time, was the first to break the jinx of building a bridge to connect riverine areas that nobody could reach before in the past, in the whole Niger Delta. So he's a man that has served, has a great footprint.
And I have to say the man is a very pleasant man. Always cheerful, always smiling. And I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, that he's one of the foremost political leaders in Delta States and indeed in the...
A Delta-born legal expert and advocate, Frank Tietie, joined these leaders to wish the second civilian governor of Delta State after Olorogun Felix Ibru many happy returns in life, even as he moves closer to the 7th floor.
It doesn't matter whether James Ibori has become a year older, the memory of James Ibori as governor of Delta State resonates with that kind of youthful posture that Deltans will always, appreciate him for. So it's a good thing that celebrated.
Was that when I was president of the Nigerian Bar Association, we held a meeting and he was presiding there at the time. And then a lot of matters had arisen concerning his administration. At that time he came to that meeting, he walked up to me, we shook hands, and I said, persevere, like encouraging him not to be deterred, not to be discouraged. He said, I go win them, That is, I will win. That is over laughter. They said he will defeat all those people trying to bring him down. A good man, and I want to say happy birthday to him. We are already on the 7th floor, so we're expecting him to join us soon.
However, in 2010, after leaving office, Chief Ibori was arrested in Dubai and extradited to the United Kingdom, where he stood trial on charges bordering on fraud and money laundering. He was finally convicted in 2012. He was sentenced to a 10-year. Was released in 2016 after serving half of his sentence, and he returned to Nigeria in 2017. Since his return, Ibori has continued to contribute to the political activities and national development. However, his UK conviction has remained a moral stain he continues to carry with him. But looking at his contribution in the past and what he stands to still bring as regards the development of the Niger Delta and Nigeria, a section of his supporters submit that the Nigerian government should extend a state pardon to Chief Ibori. But there's also another group who argue that since his conviction was and not in Nigeria, he needs no state pardon to play in the country's political landscape. We posed these conflicting positions to OCJ Okocha and Frank Tieti for their legal perspective.
The provision in the Constitution that relates to the President's exercise of his prerogative of mercy relates to conviction under laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Personally, and this is my personal opinion, that cannot extend to pardoning somebody convicted and sentenced to prison under the laws of another independent country. So much as we all want a man like James Onanefe Ibori to be free, we are handicapped. So it is a moral dilemma that our dear friend will continue to bear unless he is pardoned by the government or whichever authority. I believe it will be the King of England who can pardon him for the offenses which he was convicted for in the United Kingdom.
Because there is a mutual legal, assistance treaty between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, one can, deduce and induce that it is possible for the Nigerian president to exercise his powers of prerogative of mercy to grant pardon to any person that has been convicted under the common law or in the Commonwealth jurisdiction. And I think there is no better person or more fitting for the president to grant pardon in the exercise of his prerogative of mercy other than Ibori of Delta State.
Whatever the case may be, it is clear that Ibori still commands and enjoys strong grassroots support, not only from the people of Delta State, but from the entire Niger Delta region. This is largely because of his pace-setter role in advocating for the development and advancement of the region's long underserved communities, which, despite contributing so much to power the Nigerian economy, have had very little to show for it in terms of development. For this reason, the people want to see Chief Ibori return to full-time active politics and governance whether as an elected representative or in any other capacity.
Is one man that have the capacity, the ability to traverse the entire Niger Delta to ensure that there is peace in the Niger Delta for the federal government to contribute or to meet its OPEC quota contribution.
Today in Delta State, some of the legacy you are seeing today is Ibori legacy. That the man, James Ibori, deserved a presidential pardon.
Chief James Onanefe Ibori is indeed a towering figure, a man who has written his name in gold across every corner of Delta State, from his role in bringing lasting peace during the Warri crisis to driving infrastructure development through life-changing projects designed to open Delta to growth and connecting isolated riverine communities, also to investing in youth and human capacity. His legacies will indeed remain etched in the hearts of the people for many years to come. Here's wishing Chief Ibori many happy returns of his birthday. Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Kindly note that you can now also watch our program live on our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria on Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesdays at 9:20 p.m., and Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria for live updates and many more stories. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles shown right now on your screens. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.